gentlemen, you're now watching and listening to Championship on the Line podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and today is a very special episode here today because we got a guest in the house. He is a professional boxer. Very excited to have him. He is currently holding belts from WBC Francophone Super Lightweight Champion. He's also the NABF Super Welterweight Champion and also the WBO International Champion. And his next fight on June 29th, he'll be going against the WBO Welterweight Championship against Teofimo Lopez. And that will be on June 29th on ESPN in Miami, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Claggett, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me, bro.
Oh, man, thank you so much, man. I'm excited to have you on the pod and so much to talk about. But, first, before we start, we like to do a quick segment on the pod where we ask 10 fun questions about you. Is that okay? We do that real quick?
Yeah, man, of course.
Awesome, brother. So I'm going to hit you with the first question. Steve, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Snatch.
Okay, nice. Love that one. Hell yeah. And second one, favorite. Do you have a favorite band or a music artist you like to listen to?
Oh man, I'm so scattered. Like all these, I think of so many different options. I don't know, man. I don't know. I listen to every different kind of music too. Depends on the day. Depends on the mood.
Mm-hmm.
I like rap music. Kevin Gates.
Okay. Two phone. I like that, man. Oh yeah, Kevin Gates. Cool. Third question, man. When you're not weight cutting, what's the favorite cheat meal, man? What do you like to eat?
I like pizza. I'm a pizza guy.
Pizza guy.
Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
Toppings? What toppings do you put?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It depends. Because there's a place near mine. It's called Inglewood Pizza, and it's like they do everything. And the toppings, I couldn't even list them off, man. There's so many on there. But I like pizza. Yeah, whatever kind. I'm easy.
Nice. Love it. Next one, do you have a favorite TV show?
I don't know. No. I don't watch TV. No. No.
Okay.
Honestly. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Fifth question, do you have a hobby outside of boxing that you like to do for fun?
I read
Okay.
a lot. So reading one. That's probably my number one.
Like Cat Williams, like 1,000 books?
No, I read. I'm like looking around. Like I got 4 books right here. I got 2 books right there. But these ones are all kind of like applicable books. So these are all strength and conditioning books and like.
Ooh, okay.
But I read everything, man. I read for development, I read for understanding, I read for creativity, I read for enjoyment.
Okay, nice. I love it, man. Which is awesome, also for the brain, so it's good.
Yeah, man.
I love it, man. And the next one, do you have a ritual you like to do before stepping in the ring before a fight?
No, I have things that I do leading up to the fight that are kind of like put me in a good state, or they confirm where I'm at in my conditioning, or like just little things like that. But I don't ever want to rely like on something that is external, something that I might not be able to control. So I don't ever have rituals other than the fact that I stretch this similar way or I do my warm up this way. And it's all stuff that I can control. So my rituals are usually physical and they help me get warm for the fight. That's how I do it.
Nice. Love it, man. Great ritual and a great way to start before the fight, which is awesome.
Yes, sir.
And for the next one, do you have a favorite? Who's your favorite boxer of all time?
of all time. Man, I'm such a scatter. Like, if you ask me these questions tomorrow, all of my answers will be different. That's the thing. I spent a lot of time in Las Vegas at Floyd Mayweather's gym. He's my favorite because the strong mentality and desire to win.
Right.
So that's absolutely, yeah, Floyd.
Floyd Mayweather. Awesome, man. Love it, man. And for the ninth question, do you have a favorite sports team?
Detroit Red Wings hockey.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. You're a hockey fan?
Yeah, I have always I played hockey for a long time. I like hockey. I don't watch it so much anymore. I watch boxing pretty much all the time. That's the
Yeah.
one sport that I'm in. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I like all sports, man. I'll watch hockey. Yep. If it's a big game, if it's something behind it, if I have an emotional investment in said game, I'm in.
Right. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. And for the next final fun question, Steve, if you could fight anyone in a boxing fight, but it cannot be a boxer, it could be an athlete, it could be a celebrity, it could be a character from a TV show or a movie, who would you step in the ring with?
Um, oh man, who would I step in the ring with? I would, uh, I would fight a fighter. I would fight one of my heroes, Arturo Gatti.
Okay.
From
Ooh, fellow
one
Canadian.
of the, he was the reason. Like, yeah, I would fight Gotti because it would be such an honor, and that would be a dream. You know what I mean? So yeah, Arturo.
Gaddy.
Yeah,
Nice. Great
and
answer.
rest in peace, and rest in
Yes.
peace to the champ. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Love it, man. Well, again, man, thank you so much again for taking the time to be here. I'm really happy that you're on the pod. And
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man, I mentioned it before, but you made some headlines. Obviously, some news came out, and you have a big fight coming up
Well,
against.
okay, I wanted to bring this. Well, nothing is official.
Okay,
So this changes the entire thing. Like, I don't know. Nothing is official. I
because
mean,
I got it from ESPN. That's why I
yeah,
announced it.
and then I'm reading all the stuff the same way that you are, so I'm like, I'm pumped up about it, man. The thing is that it's a dream come true. I worked my whole life for it, so if all
Definitely.
goes through, then I'm gonna bring my whole life to it, and I'm honored to have the opportunity. But as of right now, I don't know. I'm in the dark about. Well, I'm not in the dark. My team and Eye of the Tiger, everyone over there will let me know what's going on. But negotiations are in effect, and
Okay.
I'm not going to be the one to say yes, absolutely, when ain't nothing signed yet, and this is behind the scenes. It's kind of above me. But would that
Right.
ever be an honor? I've worked my whole life for this opportunity, so I will show that.
hmm Yeah, because I was confused because like you're right, like nothing was really officially announced, but from his team saying that were chosen to be his next opponent, and and then also I got it from ESPN too. So I thought, oh, well, maybe a little bit true if ESPN is putting in
Those
their
are
boxing schedule,
those are two great sources.
right?
Hey, those are two great sources.
Yeah, exactly. That's I'm like, oh, ESPN never tells a lie. But yeah, man. And so and then I also heard like you originally was supposed to fight April 11th, right? That was another
Yes.
fight that you were.
Yep. Yep. I was supposed to fight on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right. I was supposed to fight on Tuesday. So, but I love the activity, man. I think that's something that you 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 perform well when you've been active. Inactivity kills a lot of fighters. Now, some guys, if you have the freedom to take a year off, maybe it's awesome. I don't know. Let your body recover and do all this. But all I know is you have to mentally climb that hurdle again. And when you just hopped out, and you haven't like went up against that, oh, I gotta fight, like that kind of becomes even bigger when you haven't done it in a while. When you're active and you've been fighting and you've been working and you just had a fight, it's like it's not any other day because the fight's the biggest thing ever, but you have momentum, and then you can go into camp, you can perform your best. So this is why I'm happy right now. I'm been active these last couple of years with Eye of the Tiger behind me, and I will be
Mhm.
active in the future to come as well. So I'm living the best fighter's life. This has been the best time of my whole career.
Mhm. And especially right now, like, you're still training, you go into the gym. Is it kind of difficult knowing, like, like you right now, you're kind of like, there's a possibility you might fight Teofimo or might fight somebody else. Is it kind of hard to find that motivation for you?
No, because I spent a lifetime in the game without having any certainty. I didn't know. I was a fighter without a promoter for a long time, a decade, and then almost. I worked with smaller promoters. I worked with independent management companies. I worked with nobody and went on the B side completely against different promoters. So I mean, right now I'm happy because I have Eye of the Tiger behind me. I've got a battleship. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
the trick is you learn how to just get ready for the next fight. Details aside, keep it simple. Do what you're good at. Stay in the gym, and you can improve. Whether or not you, if you know you have a fight, great. It'll motivate you. But if you're always motivated to become a better fighter, even better, because gradual progression is the name of the game. And like
Exactly.
I don't want to talk smack or nothing, but I've been in the game for 10 plus years, and I had rivalries
Mhm.
go on 10 years ago, and now I'm still going, and those guys have retired. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like longevity is a big part of the game too, and if you can be smart and plan for the long run, you can do something great in this game. So that's what I'm hoping to do as well, and I'm working my hardest, man.
Hmm. Exactly. And especially too, like you mentioned, that you had a long career. What's been like the secret of like recovery? Like how recovery is big for you?
Well, that one I've been living and learning because when I was younger, I didn't know. I would just train, I'd fight, then right after I'd train more, or when I was way younger, I would party if I won the fight, and you know you learn what means something, and in the long run you got to take care of your body. You can't do that
Exactly.
stuff. And then I'm lucky because I started so early that I was picking up these lessons when I was 20, 21, and then I don't know, the live and learn. So now I understand, okay, take care of your machine now. And then
Right.
this is making a big difference for me in the last like 7 years, going on 8. I've been better than
Mhm.
ever, and I truly believe that my time's coming, man. I truly believe it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I believe so too. I mean, I think the first time I saw you fight was against Robles, Manuel Robles. And
Yeah.
I think it was on CBS. I remember watching that fight, and I remember been following your career ever since then. And the fact that
Wow.
now you're in the winning streak and doing well, and that's when I heard the news of like of you possibly fighting T Film. I was like, yes, like finally you got your shot. Well, well deserved. You know,
Thanks, man.
but the possibility on that, have you been reading up on tapes? Have you been kind of like already stepping in, kind of like getting focused for that fight? Has there been
Of
progression on
course.
that, working on it?
Of course. The key to the game is to be prepared.
Hmm. Absolutely. And as you mentioned, like you said, you're working with the Mayweather uh, gym. And like, what's been uh, the biggest advice you received from that team over there in Mayweather for you?
Uh, I bet. Okay, well, depends on who I got some of the best advice that I ever got. I mean, oh, man, there's so many. I had so many good like teachers and interactions and people that I learned from, and
Mhm.
I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the things that Roger told me, because Roger, rest in peace to the Mamba,
Yeah.
man. What a fight mind is so hard to come by, and somebody with such like, when you understand fighting, you have brilliance inside. And well, I mean, Roger would always tell me how to move after you punch. It's like part of the punch is the movement, the escape. A million pieces, bro. A million pieces. I couldn't name best piece of advice I ever
Mhm.
got. There's too much, because all over my life I've got great advice. I've been a product of many, many great mentors. So I mean, there's been a lot, man. There's been a lot.
And what was it like working with Roger one on one with him?
It was awesome. He's very to the point. If you don't get it, why didn't you get it? Like, but boxing knowledge, he knows, like, after you do this, you move, you don't give him anything, you jab out, you stick the body, you hit hard with there's so much. Yeah, a million things, man, million things.
Hmm. And especially with your career, I mean, you've had over over 45 fights. You've had a long career, and one of the fights I loved watching was when you fought Machado, because that was
Yeah,
such a big fight for you and a big name. The
yeah.
way you TKO'd on the way in. What was that? What did that mean? That fight mean to you? That win mean for your career?
Everything, every fight I have is like, the next fight is always the biggest fight for my whole life. It's
Hmm.
like that, and I feel like that's the way to. It's the biggest fight ever. The next fight, that's the way that it is. And I was saying that for my first amateur fight, and
Hmm.
then I was saying that for my professional debut. So it's like, I don't know. The Machado fight was a great performance. I believe that it was because myself and my coach Mike Moffa were working, and we had our we was when we first started finding our chemistry in the gym, and we were putting stuff together. We were working on stuff, and that was a teamwork brilliance. That was a product of teamwork brilliance. When we're right on point, we we're working together, and so that performance came from a lot of work in the gym, and that's usually how fights go. And I
Hmm.
mean, I was very happy with a great performance, and I got the win. That name of the game. I got the win, so I was happy with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Machado's very tough, especially former
Yes.
world champion, and for you to do what you did to him, man, it was fun to watch, and fun to see that win for your career. And especially like we mentioned earlier, like you mentioned Gaddy, you mentioned so many great fighters in Canada, as yourself, guys like Pascal Stevenson. You gotta tell me, man, what is the secret, man, for Canadians? Because Canada's produced some really good boxers. So, man, you got to what's the secret, man?
There's not that many, but to make it through, I believe you need the resilience that equates a determined kind of mind, and this kind of guy succeeds in a sport like boxing because it's an individual sport. So just
Hmm.
by nature, because you're so you know driven to do it in the spot where, like, Canadians, where it's not as abundant as in the States. There's not so many fighters, there's not so many, so you really got to do it if you're going to do it. So maybe that's
Right.
that's why you get the tough way. Like, it's hard to break through, so you got to learn how to swim strong, or, like, you got to stand out in order to. So that's probably why you see the guys who've done it and shown it, because they had to. and it's a product of their environment or lack thereof. In order to make it in the big ocean of boxing worldwide, you'd have to be a standout if you're from somewhere where there's not that many fighters on the world stage. So the guys that you see, they really dug for it. They worked for it.
Exactly. Of course, of course. And one thing I want to know, like, how did you like get introduced to boxing? What made you want to be a boxer? Like, how did that all first started for you?
My mom put me in it.
Oh,
I was
really?
yeah, because I was a scrappy kid. I've told the story like too many times, but like I was always fighting. I was always fighting my whole young life. When I was a little kid, I fight in the neighborhood, fight at school. I wasn't mean. I just like I don't know how to explain it. They say fighting picks you or chooses you. You don't choose
Mhm.
fighting. That was me because I didn't even have to have like bad blood. I don't know. I just enjoyed combat. Fights would find me. And then when I was a kid, I got into fights at school. I was playing hockey, so when I was playing hockey, we get into fights. And then my mom put me in. My mom put me into boxing as like a get your life right. Like stop doing this. But I was
Right.
young. I was like I was 11, 12. I was like a kid. So it was an outlet. And then it turned out to be the best decision ever for my life. I mean, that's how I found my path, I guess, So something that was tough and bad, it ended up leading me towards something better.
Hmm. It's crazy because like all the fighters I've interviewed past, like that's the first I ever heard about a mother putting a son into boxing because usually it's the
Yes.
opposite. Usually like it's a dad or an uncle, but
Yeah.
I've never heard of a mother putting their own son into boxing.
It's it was to it's good. It's an outlet. This is where you like to punch people. You like to do this stuff. This is where you're supposed to punch people. This is where you're supposed to do this
The
stuff.
place to do it. Hmm.
Yeah, man. That's how to channel your aggression 101. Put the kids in boxing. It's a great answer.
Right.
Hmm.
Exactly. And it worked out great because now you've had such a long and amazing career, and what advice would you bring, especially talking to the young kids and new generation, what advice would you give to someone that wants to be a boxer and wants to make this as a profession?
It's an internal journey. So you work inwards. You build yourself, and the better you get at building yourself, the better you'll be able to perform. Because when the lights come on, you go in the ring and it's time to go. What you built is what you bring. So
Right.
learn how to build inward, learn how to work on yourself, and then that's a tricky one because you can't be too critical. You got to be nice to yourself, but you can't be too lazy. You got to have so I would, I'd tell someone learn how to improve yourself and try to be nice to yourself in the process.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Great advice. And especially now with boxing, there's so many things happening. With, as earlier a couple months ago they announced Mike Tyson making a return. He's fighting Jake Paul. I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on you know these types of, I guess, gimmick
Oh,
fights?
man.
Do you think it's good for the sport, or do you think it's bad for the sport?
Hey, put me on the undercard. Put me on the because eyes on the sport is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. I mean,
Hmm.
is it is it unfair that they're making this much money for their first fight or whatever? That's welcome to boxing because if you can sell
Yeah.
tickets, it makes sense. And if you can generate the ticket sales, well done. That's kind of the game. So you can't hate on the movement because it's entrepreneurship essentially. You are creating something out of himself, out of themselves, whoever it is fighting. So I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not against it. It brings eyes to the sport, and then the fighters who've been in it for a long time, like myself, we want to get on the undercard because then a whole bunch of people will see us.
We'll
That's
watch
our
it.
way,
Mhm.
that's our way in. Then you kind of hit the public eye, and then in boxing, that's the name of the game. If you
Right.
get seen by it, it's like you can be a magician, be brilliant in the dark, but if nobody ever sees you, It
Yeah,
that's what that,
exactly.
so that's why boxing is kind of it's an ocean, man. But if you can get the eyes on you, why not? That's well played, is what I'm thinking.
Hmm. And I need to know, man, what's the prediction for that fight? Who you have winning?
Oh, I'm Tyson, Jake Paul. Come on, Mike. Mike with some old school, still got the power. It like catches
Right.
him or like shakes him up or something. Like, oh yeah, that come on, Mike. Mike with a with a late round stoppage. I don't know if it's like 8 rounds or 10 rounds or whatever, but late round stoppage. Mike,
Right. I think the whole boxing committee is rooting for him, but we'll
for sure.
see.
It's tough
But
because he's exactly. It's tough, and I mean, isn't that what makes an interesting matchup? You know, and then the only
mhm,
thing is that you worry because age, and you shouldn't be taking hard impact at certain ages just because the human body shouldn't like you kind of degenerate. So that's the worry. But I also know that strength sticks around for like people. There's some some old dudes who can still punch, and I mean, if you've been using it and Mike just fought like a couple years ago against Roy. I mean, we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see. I'll be watching like everybody else.
right. And especially it's on Netflix too, which is like a first ever for them doing a boxing event. So that's new for them.
Entrepreneurship. So
Yep.
well done. Well done. How many people are gonna watch boxing who never watched boxing before? And guess what? Maybe some kid is in the room watching his parents while he's like, I want to try that. Boom! Somebody
Right.
new in boxing. Eyes on the sport. I don't personally. I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely agree. And we're talking about obviously fighting for a world title, but would you fight a social media influencer if they
Yeah,
offer that for you?
yeah, I would. I would. Well, because again, eyes on the sport, eyes on you. That's kind of the name of the game. And then I don't. For me, I don't care. Like whatever. I box with professional boxers. To box an influencer is like I don't know. They don't have the experience.
Right.
Like they're kind of in a way they're amateur fighters because they never fought before, so they're going through it for their first or second time. Now you'd learn faster because there's more on the line, so you'd progress faster as well. But they're green, you know what I mean? They don't know the game like somebody with experience. I would love to fight
Right.
an influencer, sure.
Anyone specific, or doesn't matter?
Somebody with a big name, but I'm lighter than all the guys that you hear about. So I don't know any 140 pound. I don't know any super lightweight influencers.
Maybe a catch weight, maybe.
Yeah, I catch. Hey, me, I can fight. I could go. I can fight heavier. I don't care. I could fight heavier. I always, So I mean, I'd fight all the way. I'd probably fight up to like a 165 or maybe even with 68, like because yeah, they got to be
Okay.
professional. They got to be professional weight classes. So yeah, I'd fight it. A heavier influencer. Why not? That would be fun.
Right. Yeah, man, for sure, man. But again, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time. But again, dude, I do really do appreciate you being on the pod. And one more question I gotta ask, man. I know it's not official, but if this fight does happen, as the sources say, you gotta give me a prediction, man. Like, how do you see yourself winning this fight?
I bring everything that I've done my entire life and show the whole world what I can do inside the boxing ring, and I believe in
Yes, sir.
myself. So I would bring everything in my entire life, and I would believe in myself all the way through.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. I love it, man. Again, thank you so much again for being on the pod, man. Really do appreciate you being on. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait. Hopefully we get some news on it. Hopefully we get some clarification because
Yes, sir.
hopefully, this fight could be signed and done and ready to watch it for sure.
Yes, sir.
But again, thank you again so much. And do you have any message for the fans out there, for your fans and the listeners out there?
I just want to say, tune in, keep watching, because I'm hitting the scene now, and I've been at it for a long time, but I haven't shown my best yet. And thank you to everyone who's always supported me, been behind me, man. But I feel like we're just getting started. So thanks to everybody. And this is my Canadian way. I'm thanking everybody. Say this, but I appreciate it all, and that's part of it. Reason to do it is for your people. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome. And before we wrap up, is there any social media you want to promote? Anything for the fans to follow you?
S Dragon. If you put in S Dragon, you'll find me pretty much like all social media.
Awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll put that in the description down below where you can find all his social media, and definitely recommend following him. And it's a journey you're not going to want to miss, and big things to come for Steve Claggett. And again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. And Steve, thank you so much for being on the pod, man. And hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And that's going to do it us for here at Championship on the Line Pod. We'll see you guys next time.